Hey everyone, October has passed us by, so let's take a look at how the greater Edmonton area market shaped up last month. Whether you're thinking of buying, selling, or just staying in the know, here's your October market in review. So, what happened last month? Sales were slightly down and inventory decreased just a touch, which meant a slower pace and the continued growing balance that we've been seeing recently. In the greater Edmonton area, we do typically see that slowdown as we move from fall to winter. So it's very much to be expected, but don't get it twisted because sales are still happening out there. There were 2,061 sales across the greater Edmonton area, in fact. This was a 5.7% drop from September and 17% lower year over year. New listings did decrease, so there were 3,306 new properties listed, which was a 4.7% decrease month over month, but still a 14.7% increase year over year. Total inventory now sits at 6,665 active listings, which is now up 30.7% year over year. With months of inventory sitting at 3.2 months for a second month in a row, we are still edging closer to balance on the cusp between a seller's and a balanced market. Buyers have more options with that over 30% higher inventory number year over year, and sellers are now facing more competition than they were earlier this year. Pricing trends are still remaining pretty stable with some very small changes. So right now we're sitting at $455,000 for the average price of a home, which is up 0.3% month over month and also up 3.2% year over year. Detached homes were at $560,000, which means they were up 0.9% month over month and 1.2% year over year. Semi-detached at $429,000, which means they were down 1.1% month over month, but still up 5.3% year over year. And row houses were at $297,000, which means they were down 2.1% month over month, as well as 3.5% year over year. So both increases and decreases in these categories, but overall pretty minimal changes month over month and a decent increase with that 3.2% year over year. Homes are currently taking about 40 days or so to sell on average, which is 3 days longer than it took this time last year, but it's also the same number of days as what we reported last month. So this one is for sellers. Inventory is up 30% year over year, so we are in a completely different market than we were this same time last year. Having an agent with an in-depth knowledge of what's happening in your local market is going to be key so that you have a pricing strategy that's actually going to get you a sale. So trust the experts on this one and price your property according to the current market that we are in. The good news is that we're seeing a lot of stability in pricing right now, but your buyer is a pretty smart cookie, and if they feel that you are priced too high, they probably won't even book that showing. Buyers, with the market moving towards balance, the pressure is definitely lessening. I know that moving in the winter is not necessarily ideal, which is why the competition dramatically decreases at this time of year. But for buyers that are able to weather the cold temperatures and make some moves during this slow season that is to come and is happening right now, you'll find that you have the luxury of choice and time to ponder, especially if you're looking at new construction in a lot of areas. And you may also find that sellers are more negotiable than what they will be come March. So if you want to, and if you can shop now, it would be a fantastic strategic move. To sum it all up, October brought the usual seasonal slowdown, but overall the market's still holding pretty strong. Even though activity eased a bit month over month, prices are still sitting higher than this same time last year, and that's a clear sign that demand in our area remains steady. With more listings hitting the market compared to last fall, we're finally seeing a bit more of that balance, giving buyers more options while keeping things healthy for sellers at the same time. If you're curious about how the market might affect your plans, whether it's time to list or time to buy or simply plan ahead, I'd love to chat. See you next month, and thanks for watching.